my gift has left. My son, the gift of life, has been killed. I said, I don't want her waking up with that. I said, I got to go tell her now. So I knock on the door. Literally was so crazy. She has a room, and she slept in the room that my son slept in that night. So now I'm knocking on the door. She opened the door, and I had to, like, I stepped back, like I knock, and I just stepped back and waited for her to open. And she get up, and it's, of course it's dark in her room. And she's like, what? Sleepy. I said, Gregory. What? Greg, I just kept saying his name. So the way I was saying his name, I'm not telling her, but the way I kept saying his name, she's getting it. Like, what? I said, Gregory. What, Ma? Gregory. And it's like she's getting it. Like I'm telling you the way I'm saying his name. And when I tell you all, the worst thing about losing a child is having another child or children and now having to watch them in their grief process. And when I tell you, for 60 minutes straight, 1 hour straight, every emotion that they say you go through with grief, I lived in the animated way of doing it, the physical way of doing it. I saw this child go through all grief stage. Like unbelief, laughing, like, you playing, nah, to screaming and hollering. Why? Angry, just all of the grief stages I literally saw my daughter go through for 1 hour straight. I didn't want to stop her. I didn't want to say anything. All I did was kept touching my daughter and said, prophesying to me, speaking, declaring, we're going to get through this. That's all I kept. Every time she'd shoot something out negative, like, I want to die. Like, we're going to get through this. We're going, now whatever I was saying at that moment. Drove to my parents' house to tell them the news. It's now like 5-something in the morning, and life began to change for everyone. My son has come to me in a dream. My son has let me know that he's okay. And the biggest message that I feel that I want to tell, anybody who still have their child, anybody who has the ability to, you want to stop? You want to ask anything? You good. Anyone who, I love my girls. I still have my girl. But for the teenage boys especially, to all people, black man, whatever, you have to know who you are. You have to know whose you are. And my biggest question that I'm left with is, and that's my question I want to find out through other people. My story has so many questions I want answers to, but why were them, or why was that life bigger than the love that I had for you? Like, if I could talk to Gregory, and if this video could go where he was, why wasn't my love, your sister love, the family, like, what is this loyalty to the streets? Why is there loyalty to what you're seeing? If you do this, the same thing is gonna happen. Why are y'all so angry? Why do we hate each other so much, There are some black boys, there are some people that's very scary. Like, you could look at some people and just be like, ooh, they got a lot going on, let me cross the street on that one. But my son light didn't go out, and that's one of the things that I said at the funeral. I said there are a lot of women who are dealing with having to lose their child, and they were dark. They just gave up. Gregory still had light in him. It was still a glimmer. He still smiled. He still was happy. But there was a part of him and a piece of him that he would never let me get into. And I want to encourage any mother, father, uncle, like whoever has a young person being raised with them, and even the people who are now that young boy, that young girl, and they're growing up. Y'all can't do this thing called life on your own. You can't walk this earth thinking that you got it figured out. Even at 41, I still have to get knowledge and understanding and see people for this journey called life. If not, we do become angry, hopeless, bitter. Young people, y'all have to know that people are there for you all. Your love and protection, I gotta say it over and over again, is in the person that covers you. Because I could hear things that he couldn't hear. I could see things that he couldn't see. And I could feel things that he couldn't feel. Why? Because he was growing into understanding his voice, his inner voice, his sight, all of that. My journey at this point now is to help as many mothers, teenagers, children, families, fathers, whatever, that I can, to help them understand that this is a spiritual thing we have with life, and you cannot just live it in a physical. To kind of wrap up, I tell anybody, I know the dudes like the Bugattis and the Ferraris and the Porsches. That's your body. Think of that as your body. The Challengers, the Camaros, right? Take the engine out of it. That's your soul. So you have to live dual. You have to take care of that engine. You have to take care of that soul, that spirit that's inside of you, as well as take care of the outer, the physical. And if you live that way, I guarantee you, just like a vehicle, it could take you way longer. Don't do no oil changes for that Porsche Bugatti. Don't go put some air in the tires. Don't go gas it up. And eventually it will what? It dies, it crumbles, because you're not taking care of it. So that's kind of my story for right now.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I must say, just listening to you, I'm a bit emotional.
Mm-hmm.
But a question I'm kind of scared to ask you.
Don't be scared.
Where does your faith lie with God, and how do you rationalize having such a loving God that allows us to experience such traumas?
So, great question, and I'm happy you asked that. So first, I just want to just kind of give a blank palette of God. Okay. I'm going to base God off of what could be relevant. Some people don't have children, but I'm going to put God as a parent. Okay. I'm going to put God as an uncle or auntie. Like, I want to put God as something that's over something else. Okay. All right. There are consequences, and there are things that happen based off of our choice. First of all, my God is not your God. And what I mean by that is what I've been through in my personal journey has been my story to believing God the way I believe. So everyone has a different path that they're on, a different relationship that they're on. For me, it's just personal things that I've been through in my life that I knew it could only be God, right? So when we dealing with things like, for me, someone's like, your child was murdered, and you talking about God? Yeah, in everything there is, spell good for me. Let me break it down. Spell good. G-O-O-D, right? Take out an O, God. So in good, there's God. Spell devil. D-E-V-I-L, take off the D, there's evil. Wherever light lies, wherever God lies, there's going to be darkness, and there's going to be evil things. The thing that I feel like when people say, well, why would God let this happen and let that happen? Number one, I can say, unfortunately, pain produces purpose. There are going to be some times that we feel like life is unjust. In order for me to even have my child, I had to go through what pain in order to produce the purpose of a child. I think it's the perspective and the formula that I feel that I want to deal with. My mind is that the devil comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. Every choice is different. Oh, well, why the little girl got shot? Why did this? Why did that? I can't answer that why for other people. The only why that I can answer is for me, and I'll be real. My son's purpose may have been to come to this earth to help me with the purpose that's inside of me, to give me the fight that I needed to carry out my journey. Oh man, what you mean? Why would you say that? Every pain has a connection to purpose. Every purpose has pain. And what we want to do is we want to just live life in the sunshine. So if the sun is out 365, 64 days a year, 24/7, what's going to happen to the earth? It's going to dry out, right? But then when the rain comes, oh, I want it to rain. But when autumn comes, oh, I wish it was fall. So we go through the different seasons. We go through the different changes for a reason. It all collectively helps. So for me, I can't only live in light, the sunshine, the good times. I have to understand and accept that there are going to be bad times. sad times, trials and tribulations. So for me, I understand that God does allow certain things to happen, but at the same time, it's just like the devil comes to destroy, but we won't want to deal with that. If I keep telling a child, watch, when you cross the street, I can tell go it all day. If I leave out from this interview right now and go running in front of a truck, I'm going to get hit. There are physical principles and reasons for different things that happen. Disobedience to me brings upon a lot of generational curses. I do believe that sometimes things that has been done in the past comes on to the next generation. So the demonic fight that a lot of people are dealing with and a lot of people are suffering, I do believe that there is spiritual ties to that. I can't get into all that today. I would even love to dig more deeper to address that in a different way. But I feel that my faith in God is to understand that God does not allow anything to happen without something miraculous coming out of that. And in that, I thought I knew about life before my child. And if my child had to be murdered, or if my child had to go through what he had to go through for me to save more, then I accept that. I embrace that. But that don't make no sense to me. In order to love, there has to be selflessness. So I choose not to stay self in grief. I choose not to stay self in anger. I choose not to stay self in trying to revenge, because I feel like in time, whether you believe in God or not, in time, everybody gonna get what they come from. So I feel that because I have stayed strong in understanding that there is purpose in my pain, my son is okay, I will be with him again one day. I could go ahead and walk this earth in the pain of my story and fulfill a purpose. So I don't know if I'm answering it. I know it's kind of all over, but I feel like just as well as we want to blame God, we got to understand that we got to fight against the enemy. We got to fight against this evil. God don't want nobody just going through pain and hurt and all of that. But we have to understand here on earth, we're fighting two battles. We're fighting good against evil.